have been injured in a car accident, I'm here to help. The Nation Law Firm, 1-800-NATION Law, main office, Longwood.
Of course, all kinds of things going on as the legislative session continues in Tallahassee. Important stuff. Merit pay sailed through the House. It awaits the governor's signature. All of a sudden, the teachers' union's going to file a lawsuit. Everybody's not happy with what goes on. They got to file a lawsuit. There was the lawsuit that failed against Rick Scott when he killed high-speed rail. Thank the good Lord he did. You know, there was a lawsuit there. Now we got a lawsuit by the teachers' unions trying to undo what the legislature and the governor are doing to institute long overdue merit pay to reward the best teachers, get rid of the rest of them, and end this nonsense with artificial security through tenure in the teaching profession. 407-916-5400. But there's something else that is not getting a lot of attention that got my attention, and we need to talk about this. And this puts us in that place we so often find ourselves, in the balance between, as conservatives, wanting less government in our lives, but understanding the human failings, the almost universal human quality, or lack thereof, of greed that sometimes requires government on the watch for excesses, protecting the public from unscrupulous operators in various businesses. And so it is that the conservative drive, which largely I applaud in Tallahassee, is working in a direction that concerns me about regulation of some businesses that are notorious for rip-off artists and unscrupulous operators who just work the public over unmercifully every chance they get. Travel agencies, phony vacation deals, timeshare rip-offs, car repairs, of course, we know about, real estate home inspectors who either do or don't do their job the way they should, and you're left with whatever it is they do and the consequences after they're long gone. I really do believe government has a role, kind of as watchdog and overseer here. I want government removed from the backs of business in Florida when it comes to over-regulation and setting up an obstacle course for permitting and getting the documentation you need to start up a business. That's where we need government to be pulled away from the free enterprise system and the private sector. That's what I wanted to see in Tallahassee. But there is a sweeping measure that's been approved by a Florida House committee that you need to know about that concerns me. You know, part of it is eliminating the red tape and the regulations. That I support. That needs to be done to free up private enterprise and to stop putting obstacles in the way of entrepreneurs who want to initiate a new business enterprise. They just make it impossible, and that has to be dealt with. Okay there. However, what they want to do now in the House is eliminate state government oversight of more than 24 professions and industries. Telemarketers, travel agents, home inspectors, auto mechanics, and the others I gave you here. I've got a real problem with this. It's all in the interest of deregulation on the part of government. But even these industries are saying, wait a minute, don't take away the oversight. Don't take away procedures to enforce standards of behavior, because we have unscrupulous operators in our own industry, and they give the rest of the good guys a bad name, and they compete unfairly because they're so unscrupulous. These industries, they're testifying against the Florida state government, the House of Representatives. The plan is to deregulate them. And they're saying, no, 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 no. We need some watchdog, some oversight here. So it's a level playing field for all of us. And so that the unscrupulous operators don't destroy the reputations of all the rest of us who play the game straight. And you know what? I think these industries are right. I think there is a role for government oversight for the reasons I cited. And I think the House is going down a dangerous route here that is not going to be good for these companies and not going to be good for we, the people, when we try to go and avail ourselves of their services. And there is no oversight, and you got these thieves and these charlatans running rampant. And we don't know who they are until we suddenly get a real bad deal and they fleece us for all we've got or don't deliver on their promises. Do you agree with the Bud man? Let's get the red tape removed from private enterprise, but let's let government have a role of oversight on these various industries in the state of Florida. I don't think that should be removed. I think we will regret it if they do. Do I have it right on that? Or are you about removing all government control no matter what? 407-916-5400 at 822. We check your real-time traffic and weather together on the twos. All right, sunny and 82 today, 60 degrees here in Orlando right now. Listen to this from Nancy Stewart of the Federation of Manufactured Homeowners of Florida, okay? There's a lot of rip-off artists in the trailer business. We know that. And she doesn't want the House to remove all of the regulations and the oversight at the government level. She says removing provisions from the bill that would abolish the state agency that oversees condominiums, timeshares, and mobile homes. We all know we have better behavior when somebody is watching. I've got to tell you, I think government has a role to play here. Who else is going to play it? Industries aren't going to police themselves. It's never going to happen. Now, boosters of the bill say a lot of the regulations help existing businesses to stifle competition. Lifting these rules, they argue, would make it easier for new businesses to set up shop in Florida, and ultimately they hope to create jobs. To help, we got a 12% unemployment rate here. I get that. If you can remove the obstacles to businesses getting up and started, that, I believe, needs to be done. Clear that layer of government away. But you can't leave. You can't leave travel agencies, timeshare operators, car repair shops, real estate home inspection without anybody watching at all. Don't you understand what happens in that situation? Greed prevails, the public be damned, and we get left holding the bag. So you say, well, I know you're an damn liberal there, Bud, man. I can see the emails coming, probably the phone calls too. You know, but government does have a role to play here, I think. Here's Al in Titusville. What do you think about this, Al? Have I got it right or am I wrong?
I respectfully agree with you, and I'll explain why.
Respectfully agree or disagree?
I disagree with you on that issue, and I'll explain why.
Go ahead.
For example, I'll give you a perfect example. The electricians as an industry police themselves against any type of person or persons that commit these fleecing tactics against the public.
Do you think they do it? Do you think they do it thoroughly and effectively?
Yes.
Well, then why do we still have unscrupulous operators in the business?
Well, they need to sharpen up even more to try to get these unscrupulous.
Well, what if they're not? If they're not sharpening up, who's going to make them sharpen up? What if it's not good enough? I'm tired of getting the shaft here when I deal with people in these industries.
Well, it would be to their self-interest to do that, so that way, reputation-wise, they do not get the bad rep, and they need to do that. So I believe that the only thing the government should be in is to avoid any fraud.
All right. Thanks, Al, very much. Dan's in Altamont Springs on this effort to completely deregulate so many of these industries in Florida. I've given you my take. Here's yours, Dan. Go ahead.
But I also disagree with you as well. I think the problem with our society is that we don't take personal responsibility for things. And as what government's trying to do is take away anybody from getting handled. Anytime there's an issue, you see government trying to pass a law or a bill. I mean, we live in a world that bad things are going to happen, and we need to be careful in the people we do business with. You're going to see people inevitably develop more relationships with the people that they do business with. You're going to see businesses start to pop up. I mean, if we remove all the red tape, including any type of regulatory body, you're going to see things even prosper even more than what they're doing now.
You don't want anybody enforcing standards on the way timeshare operations are run, car repair shops are run? None?
No,
Nothing.
But if I'm going to buy a timeshare, I'm going to do all the necessary research that I need to do to buy a timeshare.
How do I know if that mechanic is even licensed who's working on my car? Then I'm going to put myself and my family in that vehicle thinking he knows his stuff, but nobody's watching him to see that he does.
I'll get a referral from a family member that's doing it well, or these lists like Angie's List and these other sites that you can go on and get reputable reviews on mechanics.